So the beloved Drew Barrymore, she's getting some backlash. What was the last thing she went viral for? Right, it was her. She was like saying something in the rain, and then everyone started to just stitch to her audio. She's like, "I just am so happy in the rain," something like that. Anyway, so now not so much. Whereas people usually have nothing but nice things to say about Drew Barrymore, people are upset with her, and this is because she's getting slammed for her show coming back.
Yeah.
And this is despite the fact that the Writers Guild of America is still on strike. The Writers Guild has confirmed the Drew Barrymore show is a WAG covered struck show. So I thought I would actually clarify that for you guys. And here, let me show you the WGA Writers Guild. So they have a website on strike. And so in this, there are a lot of frequently asked questions. And so when it comes to, well, what's a struck company? A struck company is a company that was a signatory to the 2020 MBA. Contact the signatories department to inquire if a company is struck. So I'm like, all right, so then the MBA, which is the minimum basic agreement. So it's the agreement that says all the benefits, rights, protections for writers. So all that to say that basically Drew Barrymore's show still falls within one of the shows that you're not supposed to work on. And so what is Drew Barrymore saying as far as are they just intentionally violating the strike? Are they hiring workers?
She was showing solidarity with the strikes, like just immediately after. She had the showdown a day after the strikes,
Yeah, and did
and
she step down? She was hosting
she was gonna
the
host. She was gonna,
MTV.
yeah, the MTV. I think the VMAs or whatever that were just happening. And she stepped down just because just in solidarity and just walked away from some stuff. But yeah, she's just like, I have, other workers, I have other people, and it's, I got to take care of them. I mean, she's claiming that she's not going to be using like any kind of like writers or anything like that. So I don't know if it's just going to be like kind of free formish or whatever. But the thing of it is, I think this is kind of a questionable move. While I understand her instincts to do it, I think she's going to end up kind of alienating herself. And for a show that relies kind of like on guests and kind of different things, I think she might have a hard time finding people to either side with her later or just go on her show later, just because they don't want to catch any of that heat or just see like they're, because she's a
But
lot of people are outside
there are
the
other
show.
shows that have continued despite the strike, right? Like The View,
The,
but they're coming down pretty hard on
right.
Drew Barrymore. But I think it's because she
Well,
initially
they're
was
coming down
like,
on
"Oh
all of
no, I'm
them.
all for the
Yeah.
strike," you know what I'm saying, showing the solidarity. But if she goes, "No, we're compliant with the strike." Now, obviously, and I took a screenshot because um the Writers Guild actually did a tweet addressing it, and they're kind of like putting her on blast. And this was Writers Guild of America East. So the Drew Barrymore show is a WGA covered struck show that is planning to return without its writers. The guild has and will continue to picket struck shows that are in production during the strike. Any writer or writing on the Drew Barrymore show is a violation of the strike rules.
Even her head show writer was being critical. She was just like, "Well, I understand, what your feelings on it, and we need to come to kind of some kind of solution that like this wasn't it. You got to find another way." And she had another ex writer that was saying stuff like the show came out of the pandemic. It was started during the pandemic, and she relied heavily on writers during that time to launch a show and to come up with something. And they feel a little betrayed that this is kind of the repayment. We got you going, and now that we can't, you're not going to stick with us. But there's a lot of people that are affected by this. I understand it. Caterers, like lighting guys, camera operators. It's not just writers that financially are taking a hit, but and who knows how long this thing's going to go. I mean, they're predicting until next year, well into next year. So
Right. All right. So then Drew Barrymore, this was her post. I made a choice to walk away from the MTV Film and Television Awards because I was the host and it had a direct conflict with what the strike was dealing with, which was studios, streamers, film, and television. It was also in the first week of the strike. And so it did what I thought. So I did what I thought was the appropriate thing at the time to stand in solidarity with the writers. And to be clear, our talk show actually wrapped on April 20th. I think that was the day after the strike started. However, I'm making the choice to come back for the first time in the strike for our show. That may have my name on it, but this is bigger than just me. Okay, I own this choice. I can appreciate that. We're in compliance with the not discussing or promoting film and television that is struck of any kind. We launched live in a global pandemic. Our show was built for sensitive times and has only functioned through what the real world is going through in real time.
Yep. Bill Maher also, that's a good point. Yeah, he also is coming back, citing a lot of the same kind of, things. I got people that got to go back to work. I could see a Bill Maher show being able to be without writers, although he admittedly admits that it's not going to be as good of a show without his monologue, without their segments, without, just different things like that. But Bill Maher's show is more of just like I'm sorry, what's it called? Real Time with Bill Maher. I always call it the Bill Maher show, is, more about free form discussions and just kind of talking about topics with just different people. So I can kind of see, but he's getting the same flack. Like, they are outside picketing this show too. I think I saw Kelly Clarkson's coming back, which was kind of surprising on that. The Jennifer Hudson show I saw, but even with these Drew Barrymore shows, there's been reports that, that they could know, because they have tapings, the audience members were coming in and then they were thrown out for having strike buttons on.
Which they had received from the strikers on the outside when
Right.
they were walking in, but they put them on, and so then they got thrown out of the show, and the show producers said, "Drew didn't know
Yeah.
about this, and so we're gonna be, of
I
course,
believe that.
inviting them back to the show."
I believe that. But then, then it said that happened again because they had their bag search and then they were turned away because another group also. So I don't think Drew's aware of this. I've seen people say that just, Drew just needs to just Drew's one of those people where she could just go, "Hey guys, I think I made a bad decision. I'm so sorry." And I don't think people would give her a lot of flack if she kind of apologized and just changed her mind. As far as, we'll see what the long-term response is, but if the heat gets too much for her, or something like that, or if some of her close friends are getting to her, and I just think her show's going to have a hard time. um and all of these shows are going to end up having a hard time finding actors and just different writers later on, because people will remember this. These are things that social media tends to really hype this stuff up as well. So I think that we're going to see some stuff.
Yeah, I disagree with that a little bit. I think at the end of the day, the prestige of, her kind of show and, I think that she does this all with just an air of respect and doing what she thinks is right. It's not like a blatant disregard, and
She always seems like such a nice
yeah,
person.
she's not violating any rules, right? So I I
Mm,
I think
how about
she'll
that?
be fine. I think she's just getting a lot of flack. So we will continue to cover it and keep you posted on what happens.